Yeah. Yeah, I need to do that right now. Hey folks, how's it going? Welcome everyone to our live Q&A. So today we're going to be going through a tool that we've built to assist with some listing optimizations. So I'm just going to work for a second here and pull up that tool in just a moment. I'm curious where people are dialing in from.
Okay, until Dom is pulling his screen to share, I want to say a few words for those who are joining our Q&A session for the first time. I am Bogdan, I'm the Amazon Department Manager here at ScaledOn, and with me we have my colleague Dominic, which is our Amazon Senior Strategist. Between us, we spend every day inside Seller Central, helping brands from lean startups to category leaders to launch and scale successfully on Amazon. And I just want to take 30 seconds more on us. ScaledOn, we've been trusted by clients for more than 18 years. We repeatedly helped businesses hit 7 and 8 figures on Amazon with our structured strategies. So here's what makes partnering with ScaledOn so it's exciting. We really are e-commerce entrepreneurs ourselves with our own businesses, and that's by design. We know the impact of receiving bad advice and what that means to a business. We're in the weeds daily, and that's what today's session is all about. Just practical and tested advice. This is why we built, and Dominic was the brain behind this custom GPT that he's going to share. We all know that Amazon rewards relevance, so brands that treat copy as a process, not just pasting keywords and hoping it ranks, those are the ones that will win. With that, let's get started. I will kick us off. I will let Dominic kick off with the listing optimization. And why is that important?
Thanks, Bogdan. So this is a great fun tool to make, that's for sure, because it takes, a lot of our sort of internal processes when it comes to optimizing listings. We go through a lot of steps, right? And I'm sure if you've gone through the process of optimizing listings on Amazon, there's a lot of places you can start, right? So the first place naturally would be your competitor research, your keyword research. And this tool knows that effectively. And as I walk through it, you'll see that it goes through a series of steps. So just to explain what this is, it is one of ChatGPT's custom GPTs. So what we've done is we've built a series of prompts behind this GPT. And of course, this GPT is free for you to use. But in the background, what we've got is a series of steps that walk you through the methodology behind some of the listing optimizations that we do. It's designed in steps, and we had to do this in part. This was built actually before ChatGPT 5 was launched. We had this initial version of our GPT live, and even considering the context window that ChatGPT gives you, you still need to kind of move through it in steps. The backend instructions to this are completely maxed out, so we've used every single available character that OpenAI gives us, including all of the sort of knowledge hub that we can load it up with context. So I'm going to jump into it and just give a bit of a live demo, and any questions on it we can talk through as well.
Yes, and one of the reasons why we decided to build it in steps is because we had the challenge of forcing ChatGPT to follow every instruction set we have in the backend. And like Dom said, we have a lot of them. So initially it was skipping some of the instructions. So now being a step-by-step GPT, it performs a lot better. And before Dom starts showing you how to actually use this custom GPT, please feel free to use the chat, post any questions that you have, and we are going to answer them at the end of the presentation or during going over the GPT.
Awesome. So I'm actually going to start on Amazon. So what I want to do is just go to Amazon and I'm going to search for something that, let's just take a product that you might be selling. I'm going to do two methods here. I'm going to do a little bit with Helium 10, of course. If you don't have access to tools like Helium 10, there's still a way to kind of do this manually by looking at competitors and analyzing what you can see in terms of the keywords in there. Of course, you don't have an idea of volume behind them or competitiveness or even your CPCs or anything like that, but you can take a look at what they are optimizing for. So I don't know, Bogdan, if you got a top pick from what I'm looking at?
You can go with one of Zesty Paws, or doesn't really matter.
Zesty was definitely.
That's one of the category leaders. So can you
in this
please
one
slightly zoom on your screen so
yes,
these can better see it?
yeah, so just going through to this one. So if you were to eyeball this, take a look and see what do you think the keywords are that they're going after. Ignoring some of the Helium 10 plugins which you see appearing on the front of the page here, you might be looking at this and thinking, okay, the obvious one: dog allergy relief, dog itching skin relief, dog probiotics for itchy skin and itchy ears. And that's not in as a phrase, I'm sure, but they're getting that dog probiotics for itchy ears as a secondary one. So I'm going to guess that that one has slightly less volume potentially. Dog allergy paw relief, dog allergy shoes, dog itch relief. You can see they've got a ton.
You already spotted like 4 or 5 keywords.
There's a ton in there. Now, I think, to properly cover the keyword research piece, obviously you'd need more than a single session, but just for fun, let's like pop this in and we can take a look in, say, Cerebro to see what we're likely to get back. So now let that fetch some data and we'll see in terms of search volume what we might want to attack. At the moment, it's sorted by organic rank. Appreciate, guys, this is probably very small. Really, I'm looking for, let's say, if I sort by search volume, and let's say our product is comparable, I'm just going to filter by organic rank, look at some of the top terms that this product is ranking for, and let's say we did want to go after these. Take that.
Please read also the keywords that you are finding.
Yeah, so I'm going to grab, for example, dog allergy cheese, which I quite like. And what I'm going to do is pop back over to the tool. So start by hitting that button. Let's optimize some products. And what the GPT is going to do is going to lay out the first step that we need to complete. So effectively, it's just saying, hey, welcome. Step 1 is the research foundation. We're going to need some keywords. And what the tool needs is some primary target keywords. So those are the main search terms that we want to go after and that we think are relevant for the product. And then are the secondary keywords. So related terms, more long tail phrases. Now, what's interesting here is that the primary target keywords, it's going to try and maintain those as phrase keywords. The secondary keywords, it may break up if there's not enough room. And of course, brand terms, individual product identifiers. So,
and once again, for those that don't have Helium 10 or do not have huge expertise in keyword research, primary keywords are usually found in the titles of the competitors, like Dominic previously showed you.
So I think it'll be helpful if I just flip back to Amazon rather than Helium 10, because I think we're right. It's quite a complicated topic on its own. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to Amazon.com and I'm going to grab some of these. So let's just say we've identified dog allergy chews as one of the top keywords. We also maybe want to go for dog itching skin relief as a primary. Now, of course, it'd be good of me to just let the custom GPT know what we're doing when we type these in. So I'm just going to put in primary keywords, dog allergy chews, and dog itching skin relief. And then maybe for secondary keywords, I'm going to pop in something like dog allergy paw relief. Dog allergy chews, there's maybe dog allergy relief. Dog itch relief. Now, you can be exhaustive for this demo. I'm not going to put tens and tens and tens of keywords into this. I'll just put in a few examples. But let's go brand terms or product identifiers. So we'll need to make up a brand for this one, I think, unless we're going to recreate Zesty Paws. So let's just call these, the brand can be ScaledOn dog chews. Let's try that.
Who knows? Maybe we are going to launch a line of dog chews.
Yeah. Product details. So for this, exact measurements, dimensions, and the thing that's key here is you can take this from anywhere, right? So if you've got this sitting in an Excel sheet, if you've got it in a voice note, you can speak it to the custom GPT. It doesn't need to be precise in the way that you put it in. So for example, I'm just going to go to Zesty Paws in this example. Let's just say that the product we're releasing is precisely the same. I'm going to scroll down to the product info. Going too far, but yeah. So I'm going to grab, let's just say I'm going to grab these.
So for this example, you can use it as Dominic is using the competitor listing. You can use your own listing if you already have your product live, or if you're building it from scratch, probably you already have all these details regarding size, dimension, colors, no matter what your product is, you already have them, even if it's not yet live on Amazon. So this ChatGPT, this custom GPT can be used in both scenarios, either a new product launch or optimizing a product that you already have launched on Amazon.
And for additional context, what's interesting here is you can put in more information than it's asking for, actually, because the context window is quite large. So we can put in more info. So I might even say to it, for example, let's just try this as a test case. I might just say, I'm just going to paste this in. I'm actually just going to say to it, for your reference, our product is very similar to this, but it has the unique feature that it lasts twice as long, and it's in a fantastic purple color. And just give it a bit more to work with. Maybe there's 5-star reviews that you've got on your .com. Maybe there are similar products that you can say have sort of similar feedback from customers. And the reason you want to do this, it's a bit like a customer sentiment analysis, where you're basically trying to figure out what are the pain points of the product, what are the things that people get most out of, and where do people find a little bit of difficulty with the product. So I'm going to put in customer reviews. Because in this example, I'm not using one of our products, I'm using Zesty Paws. I'm just going to say ignore the Zesty Paws references. This is treated like it's coming from our product, and this is just for the purposes of the demo. So you can see it's telling us here, once you provide this, it'll move on to step 2, title optimization. So I'm just going to hit enter. And what it's going to do is it's going to come back with some suggestions for the title structure. But first, it's asking for confirmation. So primary keywords must appear in title. Yeah, that's what we put. Your optimized title. We've got ScaledOn, dog chews, and you can see it's followed that format. Dog allergy chews for itching skin relief, long-lasting purple soft chews with probiotics and omega-3 from dogs, where it's picked up from that review, and allergy paw relief and immune support. So it does a quick keyword check there as well, and you can always control F just to make sure that you're seeing them. And you can go back and forth at this point. So we could say, no, you know what, I want to change that keyword out. I think that we need to change a bit of information. I think we don't want to emphasize, perhaps the chews are not soft chews, and we want to say that they're something else. And you can basically have a conversation, and it will update the title.
You can treat it as exactly like you treat ChatGPT. You can have a conversation with it. It's not strict, even if you do not input, for example, customer reviews like Dominic did there. And hope you all noticed that you don't need the structure. He just copy pasted them from the product detail page. So it will understand. It only has the backend instructions to follow our exact guidelines to make sure they are compliant with Amazon rules. So just treat it like a normal ChatGPT with the bonus of extra instructions it has in the backend.
Mm-hmm. And actually, an important point there, when you're using this tool, like every custom GPT on ChatGPT, we don't have access to your information. So we can never see anything that gets entered into this chat. So it's just like a tool. Even as we use it between if I use it or Bog can use it, we could not see the what either of us had entered into the chat. So it follows the same privacy policy as any conversation that you have with ChatGPT. So if you've got that premium account and you make sure your settings are set to not share your data, it means you're covered. And just to go back to that point about copying and pasting, where it's really useful, go to your .com, where you'll likely have a lot of information about your brand. Use your internal brand guidelines, copy and paste those, paste in the information from your .com, and again, go to the .com, select all, copy, paste, pop it in, and I'll be able to parse through and get a real picture of who you are as a brand.
It looks like we got since we are at the keyword research phase, we got the question from Cody. Do you recommend short or longer keywords? Both, I would assume. It depends a lot on the search volume. So we should longer tail keywords usually have a lower search volume, but we want to make sure we have those, let's call them short keywords in the title, because those are usually that have the highest search volume. And when it comes to copy optimization, there's no such thing as a perfect copy. So our recommendation would be, even if you launch a product from scratch, have at least 2 versions of copy. And once you get brand registry and you have the option to run A/B tests, I highly recommend running an A/B test on the title and bullet points rather than manual switching them. And if you have a product that's already listed, when you create a new optimized copy with our custom GPT, run it through an A/B test. It doesn't matter what we think or what you think when you are creating a copy, the numbers shown in the A/B test will tell us the reality. Some copy may perform better than others, so it's always best to A/B test.
I'm going to hit go. What do you think? We're ready. Happy. Let's just pretend we're happy with this title, because I want to move on to some of those points on the bullet points. So it's asking me, would you like to lock this title in and move on to step 3? I'm going to say absolutely. So this is where we move into some of the psychological frameworks that are behind this. So you can see for bullet 1, going for that emotional / visual impact. Will this look good? Work for my dog? Number 2, quality materials. How is the product actually constructed? Bullet 3, the versatility, use cases. In which situation will it work? How will it work? Bullet 4, size, fit, ease of use. Bullet 5 ties it back to the identity hook or giftability. On the keyword requirements, it's pulled those through from that first step and then brings them through. Now, it's funny that it mentions it'll weave them in naturally without keyword stuffing, because we didn't put a huge list in here actually. So it should make its life a little bit easier. But you can see here that it also highlights the keywords that it's popped in. So you can see from the start, comfort from constant scratching. So it's understanding the need behind there. Of course, you'll likely to go on to Amazon because your poor pet is being chewing at his paws, and it is something that you can't stop thinking about because you see him in discomfort and pain. And the first bullet point hits that out: comfort from constant scratching, while getting those keywords in there designed for dog itching skin relief. These tasty soft chews will help restore comfort so your dog can finally relax. We've seen a big improvement with GPT-5 on this as well in terms of how natural those sound. So it's been great to play with it in that regard.
Yes, one thing to add here, even though it's evolving at an alarming rate and GPT is getting better and better every day, one reason why we also went with the option to put the keywords in bold is to double check, because we need to remember that human QA is very important. So if you did your keyword research right and you have your phrase keywords, you need to double check that it has the exact phrase keywords. You need to read through the bullet points to make sure they all make sense. In this case, they look wonderful, thanks to Dominic's tweaks that he applied in the backend. So don't forget to QA everything that goes live to your product detail page, even though it looks perfect.
Yeah, and that's actually it's something that can be a bit misguiding in the sense that because it produces such good copy, it can kind of throw you and go, wow, that's incredible. That sounds great. You need to bring it back to what we are actually trying to achieve here, right? Which is to get those keywords into those bullet points for search. There's some things that are difficult to avoid. For example, ChatGPT's love of the M dash, which is fine, but just worth pointing out. If you don't want to see that there, get that removed before you upload.
And it's probably worth to do that manually to delete it, because
Yes.
we've struggled a lot with the instructions in order to convince ChatGPT not to use M dashes anymore, because this is a clear sign that the copy was generated by AI, even though this is not necessarily a bad thing. But at least we personally do not like to see them in the copy. So making sure you read through the copy and remove those would be one of the QA steps.
Mm-hmm. And it's one of those things about ChatGPT, right? When it comes to the sort of repetition of instructions, the reason that you're seeing them here, really, as we just said earlier, we are using every available possible character in the back end, but you actually couldn't spare any more to tell it off for its use of M dashes at each step. Step 4, product description. Again, we can go on here, but maybe, I don't know, maybe we're not challenging enough. Bogdan, do you want to, is there anything we can throw back at it and say that we're not happy with?
Just pick one bullet point and ask him to rephrase it and using a different keyword and see how it applies the changes. Let's assume that dog allergy paw relief is a very low search volume keyword. So let's ask him to rephrase that using a different keyword.
Okay, so I'm not happy with the third bullet point, the relief for paws, ears, and coat. I think that the dog allergy paw relief actually has much lower search volume than we first thought. So I think that you should change it to, just going to paste that in so I don't lose my progress. What do you think, Bogdan?
Skin allergy. Let's go with just dog allergy.
I'm going to give another challenge. I'm going to say, also, our product actually works for cats, and I think in bullet point 5 you should try and weave in something along these lines, that it's multi-use. I just want to throw something at it.
Making it useful for buyers that have both a cat and dog.
Yeah, seems unlikely, but let's see. But also what I was thinking there was just trying to test the fact that, yeah, there we go, great. Because I didn't want it to edit any of those other bits. I didn't want to see cats appear in the other bullet points. So that's made me happy. Multi-pet care for dogs and cats. Switch that to dog allergy. Okay, great. Let's move on to the product description.
Just don't forget to put any questions in the chat. I don't see any other questions except the one from Cody, so feel free to ask any questions.
Cool, so we're now at step 4, product description, final step. And so here, the framework that we're using is this 4-paragraph conversion system. So we're going through number 1, emotional hook, 2, tangible features, 3, practical application, and 4, back to gifting, self-expression, right? Tie back to identity. So important here, naturally, if you're using A+, which of course you should be, your product description will be overwritten, but this can be a great base for some of that text that you'll end up using.
And if we have sellers that launch a new product, maybe they won't have A+ from the beginning. So it's still helpful to have a nice looking product description, which also optimizes a bit for SEO, for backend search terms. So it's good to have those search terms in the description too.
That is true. So as we move through, brings through those points. I'm interested to find that it did use that bit of information about cats in that last section as well. Great. Now, what I would like to do next actually is, so we also have instructions in here on A+, and backend search term as a little bonus. Now I haven't pasted a huge ton of keywords in, so I am going to go back and grab some more from Cerebro, I think. So I'd like you to add in dog allergy chews, dog allergy and immune chews, yeast treatment for dogs, dog allergy relief chew, allergy medicine for dogs, itch relief for dogs, into the backend search terms, or at least use what you can from there for the backend search terms piece. It's great, and per the instructions, it recognizes that it's in the title and bullets, so it's pulling this out, and it's going to give me a set of optimized backend search terms, which you can apply to the product as well. What I'd like to do next is perhaps even just jump on to the A+ piece. So using your instructions, please continue with the product A+ content section. And just something to mention on this as well. We've gone through quite a bit here. You could, in theory, now move on to the next product, but best advice is start a new chat, just to maintain. I know we've tested this, and you can certainly move through a few products, especially with GPT-5 in the context window, but just to be sure on the keyword front that there's no mix-up happening, advice would be to start a new chat.
And this was also a pretty basic example on how you can use it if you are going to have more back and forth conversations with it, requesting more changes. It's always better to start from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we lost you for a second, but yeah, just show all the attendees, what are the suggestions from the plus
Yes.
that we have here, because we are almost at time and we do value your time. And thank you so much for attending, but please allow us 2 more minutes to go over this. And
super. So yeah, it's going through that same frame, a similar framework now for the different banners. And again, this is just copy that you can use, repurpose, pass to the designers to help work with the A+ content on the page. When using this, definitely test it, as in test the limits. So paste in very large lists of keywords that you think for secondary and tertiary keywords. Have at the ready when you're switching between new chats. So we've done one product, you want to move on to your next product. Have at the ready your brand information ready to copy and paste in again, and repeat from there. And we're keen to hear. We have tried to break this many times, so if it breaks, please let us know. And this link goes out to everyone, so I hope you all have fun with it.
and
Needless to say, if you've got
your time optimizing your listing, so now it should take only a couple of minutes for you to get an optimized listing rather than spending days to get the perfect version.
That's it.
Okay, thank you all for attending. I see that no more questions popped in the chat. Hopefully next time you'll have your questions ready, or even if it's regarding this current session, you can shoot us some questions via email. Thank you so much for attending. Super. And have a great week.
Thanks, guys.